Hello traders, welcome to my video on the NFP Forex Strategy, Non-Farms Payroll Strategy. In this video I'm going to show you how you can use it to capture moves such as this one for almost 300 pips. So what is NFP? NFP is basically the first Friday of the month when the non-farms payroll reports are released, okay, and this can cause significant movements in the market, okay. One thing it's worth being cautious of is that brokers can increase spreads and you can have more slippage than usual around these releases, so that's just important to be aware of if you are trading a strategy like this, okay. And this is my interpretation of the NFP strategy, okay. There are various different ways in which it can be traded. This is how I would trade it, okay? And this is a euro dollar 1 hour chart. So the first thing to do is look for the trend direction. So I can see here we've got our resistance, we have our support line here. Just draw that in there for you. Okay, we had a breach of support around about here. Okay, so the breach of support became resistance, price fell down, and we had a nice breakout here. This would have been a good breakout trade to take here. Okay, market making these lower highs. You've got a wedge formation, and this would have been a good entry into this downtrend. Okay, had we have not entered here, the NFP strategy, but just hone in here. You see this big bar here? That's an NFP bar. Okay, so basically when the NFP non-farms payroll reports were released on the first Friday of this month, it caused this significant move downwards, okay? And I would have traded in the direction of the trend, which is down here, and it just so happened that the reports agreed with the overall bearish sentiment. So how would we have taken that trade? Well, all you do is you just draw your support level, okay, and we would have traded a breakout of this support using the momentum from the NFP release there to enter into that breakout trade in the line of in the direction of the overall trend. Okay, lower highs, market is clearly falling down. You can put a moving average on the chart if you need it spelled out for you. Okay, let me just plonk one on there for you. Okay, clearly we're in a downtrend. Okay, you don't need a moving average really to tell you that. But the key with the NFP strategy is it can help us just take advantage of the momentum of the releases to use it as a time to enter into the trend. Okay, and by doing that, we would have had a trade with almost 300 pips profit potential. Okay, stop loss we could have put just above the recent high, so you're looking around 10 to 15 pips, really tight stop loss for the 1 hour chart time frame. And then we could have used a trailing stop, just trailing the price above the recent highs all the way down to maximize the move as much as possible. Okay, close part of the position if you want on the way down, just to bank some pips. At least move a stop loss to break even. We don't want a winning trade turning into a losing trade, and we also don't want to exit the position too early. I mean, if that does happen, you can of course re-enter based on pullbacks, a pullback and another breakout. Okay, a pullback and a breakout, as long as we're trading in the direction of the overall trend, we are good. Okay, but as I said, you could have been in here earlier. Even this pullback, nice M pattern formation, breakout, support becomes resistance, continuation. Okay, but the good thing about this one is it just happened to coincide nicely with the NFP release. I think it's worth mentioning as well that you can check the predicted outcomes of the NFP releases, which can just give you a pre-warning. Like, let's just say you wanted to short into this trend, you're approaching NFP day, first Friday of the month. You've seen that it was gonna have a bearish impact on the euro dollar currency pair. Then you would have been primed. You would have been looking at this situation here, seeing this clear downtrend. NFP, a bearish NFP is about to be released. Yeah, you've got these lower highs, you've got this consolidation here as prices getting squeezed, inevitable breakout. And once the NFP is released, bang, there you go. So that's one way to trade NFP reports. trading in the direction of the trend. It's worth mentioning that if the NFP forecast was bullish, perhaps you wouldn't have taken this trade, or you would have just waited for a scenario like this one here. Okay, first Friday of the month here. You can see again, big NFP candle. That's when the release was. In this instance, you would have checked the report. You would have seen, okay, there's a bullish forecast. We can also see that prior to the report, markets making these higher lows. Perhaps traders were aware of what was going to happen. You've seen prior to the release, big moves up. Traders just trying to get into that before the news is released. You also have a bit of a bear trap as well here. Some traders are trying to short down and around here, and what happens is their stop losses get taken out. Traders who sold earlier on are exiting their position, just causes this shift of momentum to the upside, and that coinciding with the NFP report just causes a big move like that upwards. Okay, and in this instance you would have been say you would have been here. Okay, you would have seen the market moving up, making these higher lows. You would have been aware, okay, there's a bullish forecast on the NFP. Just before it's released, you've seen this big move up. You've seen the breach of this resistance level here, and it's, prime pickings. In fact, you've even had a breakout of resistance there as well. Okay, so it would have been prime pickings to just, you may have even entered here prior to the NFP, which may have actually been a good idea, because as I said at the start of the video, the slippage can be quite high and maybe spread as well around NFP releases. Okay, you could try and enter here and not get until around here due to slippage. So sometimes it's good to front run the release, basically get your trade in place beforehand, especially once you've seen a breakout there and a move like this. Just make sure you've got your stop losses in sensible places. This is one way, trading with the immediate trend and the overall sentiment of the release of the NFP. Some traders would just, this isn't how I would do it, but some traders would literally just, prior to NFP, do a pending buy trade, and say a pending buy trade above the high of this candle, and a pending sell trade below the low. And then after the price opens here, just zoom in a few there. So this is the NFP candle. Price will open here, and they'll just have a buy stop here to look to, if the NFP shoots up, they'll capture it. If it shoots down with the sell stop, they'll capture that. Any problem with that, as I said, slippage and spreads and that, you might not even get your trade executed anyway. I think it's just better, in my opinion, to have sort of reason and a logic behind the direction you're going to trade with the NFP strategy, not just trying to hope that you get on the right side of the release. And of course, you can use the forecast. You can apply that strategy, but only place a trade in the direction it's going to go. So in this instance, if you would just apply that strategy we discussed then, you would you have this bar here, previous bar, and then you just have your pending buy above, pending sell below, and then when the news is released, one gets triggered, well, hopefully, depending on your broker's spread and slippage, and then you can just use the momentum to capture the move. Like trapping the price, basically, either way it goes. Problem with that, of course, is you can end up getting triggered both sides, so especially how fast the price can move. So what you'd want to do is delete one as soon as another is triggered. That's what I would do anyway. You do what you like, but I wouldn't, if this pending sell was triggered on the NFP release, I'm not going to leave the buy there, because if the sell gets triggered, then the buy gets triggered. If your broker allows hedge, you could just end up getting a bit of a sticky situation, and the orders can cancel each other out. You just end up paying more in fees. But again, you can enter prior, say we're here, you're seeing this bearish price action. You've got this bearish inverted hammer, you've got a bearish hanging man there as well, 3 black crows. There's lots of signs there that the market is going to continue dropping, not to mention the lower highs, and the overall trend being down long term. So what we could have done is, prior to the NFP release here, could have just been looking to sell earlier and just riding the momentum of the release down there. And yeah. So again, you would have checked the sentiment for the release would have been bearish. So if you were doing a pending order, if you're applying that strategy as well, when you just have pending buy above and a pending sell below, you may only have had a pending sell in this instance. So if the sentiment was bearish, okay, so in that instance, you may not even look at the overall picture. You might just say, okay, NFP is approaching. It's a bearish NFP, so I'm going to have a pending sell, or if it's a bullish NFP, I'm going to have a pending buy. But as I said, depending on your broker, you might not get executed, so you can always place the trade earlier before. Just make sure you're ready to act after the bar, and then decide what you want to do with your position if you have one remaining then. Okay, but for me, I'm just zooming out. I'm looking at the bigger picture, and I'm going to trade in the direction of the trend. And if the NFP is agreeable with the trend, and I think that can be used as a good way to time it. But it's not the only reason I'd enter a trade, to be honest. There's, as I said, this entry here, this entry here, this entry here. There's other reasons. It just so happens that the NFP landed really nice on that one. But even back here, we had a pullback, support, 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 breakout. Support comes resistance. There's entries here. You don't just need to rely on NFP and arguably trade around unfavorable trading conditions as well. Okay. Hopefully you found something useful in this video. If you can like and subscribe, that would be great. One thing I think I should mention as well, check the currency pair or trading instrument that you're trading in, and if the NFP is going to impact that particular currency as well. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope to catch you on the next one. Take care.